Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Welcome in on a Thursday morning. A couple of local teams playing last night, as expected. BYU basketball team rolling to a 91-60 win over Cal Baptist. It's not that Cal Baptist is necessarily a bad team. They're just hideously overmatched. They're actually picked. They might end up winning the WAC. We'll see how that plays out, but they're supposed to be pretty good in that league. They're off to a 7-1 start. They're moving to the Big West, actually, where they'll be in the same league with Utah Valley and by UC Santa Barbara Gauchos and a handful of other teams. But overmatched at the Delta Center as BYU rolls to that 91-60 win. As you would expect, A.J. DeBanza way better than everybody else on the court. So he scored 22 points to lead BYU. And going with him, another guy who also just, physically dominant in a game like this, Kebaketa, 22 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 block shots. And then Robert Wright III also with a strong performance, 15 points, 11 assists. BYU is up 16 at the half, and they win 91-60, so they improve to 7-1 on the season. Now, they have 5 days to get ready for Clemson, coming up on the 9th. So that is, we'll see what kind of a test that is for the Cougars. At least it's back to a power conference team. It is hard early in this year watching all this football to follow these teams and know what's going on as far as, Clemson and who are they and how do they match up. They're off to a 7-2 start and have lost to Georgetown by 5 and Alabama by 6. But they do have a 3-point win over Georgia and a 3-point win over West Virginia. So they're testing themselves. They're playing multiple Power 5 teams early on. They gone 2-2. So we'll see how that works out. Things worked out for the Utah Mammoth last night after a brutal stretch, 4 straight losses, only 4 wins in the month of November, and they gave up 6 goals in the first 2 periods and lost in San Jose last time out. But, man, it was a different team in Anaheim. Talk about bringing the energy. 2 goals in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third, a 7-0 win for the Mammoth as they just pound Anaheim. For more, let's get to the best of the postgame show.
DJ and PK, the Utah Mammoth went into Anaheim on Wednesday night and beat the Pacific Division leading Ducks by a count of 7-0. A 27-save shutout for Karel Vejmelka as Utah, for the 4th time in team history, scores 7, so that ties the record. Margin of victory of 7 is the best in franchise history. So the Mammoth snapped that 4-game losing streak, and they're back in that wildcard spot in the Western Conference all of a sudden. And obviously leading this game from tape to tape, Lawson Krause, who put up 2 goals in a losing effort on Monday night in San Jose, got the scoring started for Utah. 5:59 into the first.
Carcone back of goal in front for Krause, backhander, and he scores! Michael Carcone puts it on a platter for Lawson Krause, who did the rest, pulling the string on Billy Husso, and it's 1-0.
Utah took that 1-0 lead and immediately took a penalty, but they killed it off, and Dylan Gunther quickly came back and made it 2-0 Utah.
Vacuumed in by Ian Cole and chipped to center. Gunther explodes through the middle. Gunther right in. Gunther dangles and scores! Oh, solo mio! Dylan Gunther.
That 2-0 lead was a pretty good sign. The Mammoth now 7-2 when they have a 2-0 lead in a game. They took that lead to the first intermission, and they made it 3-0. Early in the second, Ian Cole, who had a franchise record +5 in the game, scores a goal here from Maverick Lamoureux, just called back up from the AHL, and J.J. Peterka picked up the secondary assist.
J.J. Peterka floats one back up top. Lamoureux to the veteran Cole. High wrist shot, and he scores! Ian Cole has 2 points here tonight.
So at 3-0, Anaheim looked like they got on the board, but Utah challenged it for offside. It was quickly overturned, and the Mammoth, 1 minute and 41 seconds after that, would get another goal from Peterka to make it 4-0.
3-on-2 for Keller and Schmaltz. Schmaltz this way, backdoor. Peterka scores! Tic-tac-toe!
Then on to the third for Liam O'Brien's second goal of the season.
Puck comes in front, and that's a goal. Utah has scored. Liam O'Brien is going to get his second of the year.
And it was such a great night, the Utah power play even got rolling. They went 1 for 2 J.J. Peterka made it 6-0.
Is turned over. Look out. This might be a 5-on-1 here for Utah. Gunther with Keller and Peterka. Gunther, backdoor. Peterka taps it in and scores. 6-0.
And then to close out the scoring in the third, the captain, Clayton Keller, put up the touchdown and the extra point for the Mammoth.
To Keller. Out wide. He shoots it. Tips in. And they score. Keller had the shot. And that makes it 7-0.
Well-rounded game for Utah. 11 different players got at least a point. 6 players had at least 2 points. J.J. Peterka, his best night with the Mammoth. 2 goals, 2 assists, 6 shots on goal for Utah. And again, a team effort. 15 of their 18 skaters were on the ice for at least one 5-on-5 goal. Vejmelka gets the shutout. It's the 4th time in the last 6 games that he's allowed 2 goals or less. He's been pretty good and pretty consistent for the Mammoth. Let's hear what they thought of the game. Let's start with head coach Andre Tourigny.
Obviously, it's nice to see you in those circumstances, everyone. No, seriously, everybody played good. It's we can talk about some guys who made points or Veg who has a shutout, but at the end of the day, the way we get above the puck all the time and we have number defensively all the time, it's a really good team on the other side. Really tough to play against the way the poise they have with the puck, but the fact we had numbers all the time and we're above them and we compete and we got opportunists offensively. So proud of the guys, the way they regrouped, the effort. I think the message was clear and I think well received. Now just doesn't mean anything anymore after midnight, so we'll need to focus. Vancouver played a really good hockey lately, so we'll need to get ready for them.
When you see, all 4 lines having a goal at 5-on-5, the effort was there, obviously, but both sides. What can you say about just the continuity of all 4 lines? Yeah,
like I said, it's everybody. I cannot tell you one player where we're not proud of tonight. I have to talk about Banner's line, though, the way they play against their top line and their efficiency both sides of the puck and their intensity and their awareness, urgency, desire to do the job in those situations means a lot. And I think it sent the right message to the team and it kind of push everybody forward in the right direction.
Bear made some tweaks going into that game. He put J.J. Peterka with Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller, and we heard in the highlights the results that saw with all 3 gathering multiple point games. Utah called up Daniil Boot, the 20-year-old 6'5" forward from the AHL, where he led the Tucson Roadrunners in scoring. He went with Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther. Liam O'Brien was put back in the lineup. Utah scratching Barrett Hayton and Brandon Tanev for the first time this season in the contest, and pushed all the right buttons and found a way to catch Anaheim. Again, we said Pacific Division leading Ducks, 3rd best record in the NHL at home. Utah lost in overtime to them just over 2 weeks ago, and they're the 2nd highest scoring team in the NHL, and the Mammoth have allowed 1 5-on-5 goal to them in 2 games. When Utah's locked down, they're pretty good, and it shows just how quickly things can change in the National Hockey League, from one night losing 6-3 to winning 7-0 the next night. It was a pretty complete effort. Not too much to nitpick about from the Mammoth after this one. We heard from Ian Cole after the game as well, the veteran who played with the 21-year-old Maverick Lamoureux. Again, mentioned the +5, 1 goal and 1 assist for Ian Cole.
What did you see out of Lamoureux tonight?
What I see out of Lammy? Yeah, he's a good hockey player. It's great to have him up, and we're very fortunate to have a lot of options on our back end of a lot of really good hockey players. So, I thought he did great tonight. I thought he handled, a highly skilled team well over there in Anaheim, and we're going to keep moving forward just as he is.
What's it like to see a teammate make their NHL debut and experience all the emotions of a dream come true?
in Cheeks.
Danielle Boot.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a great kid. He's a fantastic kid. We're so thrilled for him, and to be honest, I thought he played great. He's big, he's fast, he's skilled. He knows what he's doing offensively, defensively, and he's a very responsible player for being, especially his first NHL game. So, I think the future is really, really bright for him.
Do you think this team can work with what you did tonight and make more of a push?
Well, we're going to have to. We're going to have to. Obviously, the way things have gone recently has been disappointing, to say the least. But we knew that this was a big game, and we were able to step up against a great team over there and do a good job. Like I was saying earlier, though, it's one game. We got 60 games left, something like that. So, we got to continue to be good here for quite a while.
And a big NHL debut for Danielle Boot. He was on the ice for the second Utah goal scored by Dylan Guenther, 12th overall pick in 2023. And a nice NHL debut. Not too many people win their NHL debut 7-0.
How did that one feel? Obviously, an NHL debut is something you don't forget.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. So we won. It's the most important.
What did you want to be able to contribute in that game tonight?
What is contributed?
Add to the group. What did you want to prove out there?
I want to add energy and maybe a couple shots. Yeah, that things.
How did the reality of making your debut compare to what you dreamed of your whole entire life?
Yeah, it feels like a dream. So I think I don't understand yet where I am, and I need to keep going.
What was it like to celebrate with the guys, celebrate your first game, get the big hat in the locker room?
Yeah, it means a lot for me. So thank you for my teammates. They made it for me. So yeah.
The NHL game, how did it compare to what you expected from the AHL game here in North America, the step up?
Yeah, the speed is faster. You need to make your decisions quickly. So yeah, that means.
Thanks, Daniel.
So the Mammoth will play Game 5 of the 6-game road trip on Friday night in Vancouver. We will have that game for you on the AM side on AM 1280, the KSL Sports Zone. Hockey Night in Utah starting at 6 with the Jazz and Knicks on 97.5. The puck will drop from Vancouver, BC at 7. Mammoth will be in Calgary on Saturday. That'll be a 5 p.m. face-off for you. Of course, Mammoth Daily will recap this game, unpack it even more. Mike's Morning After, we'll have Nick Olczyk and Matt McConnell stopping by. I'll give you more of my thoughts. Nick Olczyk will be our Thursday expert. We'll talk analytics with him. So a big Thursday on Mammoth Daily, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, on the Utah Mammoth YouTube page, and on SCG Plus as well. Monday through Friday drops at 4:45 a.m. Another option for you to consume your Utah Mammoth. DJ and PK, have a great Thursday, and we will be back with you next week.
There is the best of the post-game show as the Mammoth win 7-0. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Kalani Sitake getting his team ready for the Big 12 championship game. Sellout crowd, tickets available on the secondary market, but it's expensive. It is very expensive. You can't get up in the nosebleeds. There's a lot of seats in the $200 range up there, and there's a few under $200. And then if you want to sit down in the lower tier there, you're over $1,000 easy. You might be over $1,500. So it's expensive. For BYU, can they punch their ticket, win the Big 12 title game to get the automatic berth in the college football playoff, and end all this talk about an at-large bid? Well, that's the charge, and now that Kalani has the job and the contract behind him, focus on that. Kalani with the media on the game next. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. BYU, Texas Tech, Saturday morning, 10 a.m., Jarrah World, the Cowboys Dome in Arlington. Kalani meeting with the media now that the contract stuff is behind him. Focus on the game. Here's Kalani with the media.
Really excited to announce our signing class for the class of 2026, and excited about the type of playmakers that we brought on to our program, and excited. I mean, a lot of them we knew about already, and so we are really fired up about the talent that's coming in and the fit that they are to our program. There's a good number of them that are going to be going on missions first, and then there's also a good number that are enrolling early and starting school next month. So I feel like we've got a lot of our needs taken care of here and to provide depth on our team, but also some guys that can definitely compete for playing time right away. And so I think overall, I love the class. Really proud of our coaches. Just want to thank them. It's a lot of hard work from our coaches, I know that, but also our recruiting department. They've done an amazing job, and I don't think they get enough credit for what they do. And everyone that's just been involved with BYU, helping everyone now south through this recruiting process, and it's been amazing seeing all these. We've recruited a lot of these guys since they're younger, and now seeing them in the last year, seems like time just flew by, and now they're here, and many of them are going to start school next month, and so looking forward to it. But really want to answer any questions that you guys have for us. But the other coaches will be able to answer a lot of the details. But I'm just really proud of the fact that we got a lot of guys from the state of Utah, our backyard, and then looking at the places that we were able to hit, different parts of the country. We were able to scour the earth and find the best players, and I'm really proud of the class that we have today. What questions do you guys have for me?
First up, we'll have Dana Green.
Hey, Kalani, Dana Green with ABC4. Probably the biggest name on this list, Ryder Lyons. A lot has been made about him. How does he fit in? You have a freshman quarterback now. I know he's going to go on a mission, I believe, for a year. So how does he fit in your long-term plans, and just what kind of talent is he?
Well, I'm only allowed to discuss the players that are officially signed. So, once we get to that and once that's been public, and then I'll be able to comment on it. But until then, I can only comment on the players that are here. But if speaking in general, we feel good about our quarterback position. I feel good about the talent that's coming in there.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought he had already signed, so sorry about that.
Trying to get me in trouble, Dana.
Next question from Mitch Harper.
Kalani, I'm curious, I wanted to ask you, there were reports last summer that Texas Tech was getting a roster of the team that you're going to face this Saturday of more than $28 million. I'm curious, going forward with recruiting, is that kind of like a number that it's going to take to build a national contender going forward?
Well, I don't know what the actual numbers. I don't work for Texas Tech, even though I'm friends with Joey McGuire. I know that there's a lot of speculation on how they got their roster together. But I'm gonna first say that Joey is a great builder of culture, and you can see that the culture works in their program, and you can see that it's been able to embrace all those that have been there for a while and developed in the program, and the newcomers that have been in that program. So, in regards to NIL and rev share and all that stuff, we keep our things private here. Our goal is to be in the market, but also make sure they're a right fit. Don't want guys just coming just for money, So they've got to come for the experience, and obviously there's a lot of money available. But if their number one thing is money, then this is the wrong place. If the conversation starts off with money, this is definitely the wrong place. And so we're going to be focused on the fit and the program and the mission of our school, and that other part will just be more of a secondary conversation, maybe even the third conversation.
Thanks. And then I just want to ask you about a specific player that signed, Bot Molitalo. He converted over from defensive line to offensive tackle during his prep career. What do you like about his potential as maybe an offensive lineman in your program going forward?
Well, he fits in the line of guys like Kingsley and Panay, that same body type, guys that can play D-line, obviously, in college and the NFL. And the difference is I think he's still kind of new to O-line, but he's really good at it, and he can play either one. He can play whatever position he wants, and he's athletic enough to even play tight end. So he's gifted. We feel like an O-line position would be good for him there, and we think he can play early. We think he can compete for a starting spot right away. We happen to have some openings, but we also have some great rotation. The key is the best play, and the good thing is that he's going to start school in January and have a great offseason going into the fall of 26.
Next question from Jake Hatch.
Yeah, Kalani, just based on how things went yesterday with the new contract, there's reports you're going to have an increased amount of NIL. Are you planning on, I guess, strategizing, keeping recruiting centralized? Are you going to want to go more national as you guys get more and more prominent in terms of your recruiting prowess?
We've always been national in recruiting. I mean, that just because we want the players to feel valued doesn't mean that we're going to change the way we do things. Our recruiting would be the same way. But we're going to the fact that we're in the Big 12 and that we have more resources now is going to allow us to get into more homes and allow us to communicate to more people about what BYU is all about. It's the mission of our school, which is aligned with the mission of our team, and aligned with our church. The goal is to get the right fit. And the right fit could be, in Australia. I don't know. I've asked years ago for everybody to help me recruit, so I still need that. We are going to recruit globally, but also focus on the guys here close to home, and then there's nothing wrong. I mean, we've gone all the way out to Arkansas to get Braxton Lindsay, Colorado, and Texas. So we've been a lot of different places, but I don't think we need to really change our protocol. We want to have young men that fit the team and fit the university, and then we'll see that the money, increased resources doesn't change the way we do things. We have to still be, we want to be updated, but we want to have old school principles and old school values still.
And there's to piggyback off that real quick, are you planning on adding more recruiting staff at some point down the line with the added resources?
Recruiting staff, you said?
Yeah, staffers, like people to yeah.
Yeah, I mean, within reason. I just because you have, I want to make sure that there's a purpose for it all. Just because another school might have more doesn't mean that we get exactly what they do. We want to make sure that there's a purpose for them to be here, and that there's a actual job for them to do. So. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to improve and increase, but it's all got to be within reason, and it can't just be. We're not going to be splurging and spending. We're going to be really responsible with the finances.
Next question from Jay Drew.
Kalani, this is your 11th class that you'll sign this month and in February. Where does it rank among the 11 classes you've big picture wise? Where does this signing class rank?
I don't know. I think a lot of people have different rankings, and kind of put the rankings up there. But it's interesting. We get guys that committed since June that had a certain amount of stars, and they lose stars all of a sudden because they're committed to us. And so it depends, when you're looking at the brand and who people sign with, all of a sudden the people that make the star system, I don't think you can bank on that, So for us, it's like what class was Chase Roberts and Tanner Wall and all them, when you look at it and what we've done, we went 11-1 with this signing class that are seniors now. Some of them went on missions, So when you look at that, I look at potential. I'm looking at the potential here with this signing class, and the sky's the limit for this class. We can do some really great things with it, but I felt the same way about all the classes that we've had and the teams that are the guys are on our team currently. I feel the same about them. I feel like we've got a great thing going. We just need to keep adding to the system, and these guys fit exactly what we're looking for on and off the field, and we're looking forward to seeing what they can accomplish. But overall, we have our own measurement of how we're going to judge our players, and we think that's going to work. They got to fit the culture first, because the culture will help us win games.
Next question from Dana Green.
All right, I got one that won't get you in trouble. Can you talk about some of the local? I probably should have got on Twitter before I got on the Zoom call to see. Can you talk about some of the local guys who have signed and what they're going to bring?
Yeah, I mean, they're all the guys from the state of Utah have been amazing. When you got Kawe Akana, and he's going to play safety for us. He does a great job. Adam Bywater, he's Ben's little brother and little big brother, so he's linebacker out of Olympus. Those guys can play, and there will be a defensive side along with, Juni Mwala from Orem. He's disruptive and has tons of stats, and he's a force, and so he's nice out of the group. And when you look at the offensive guys, you add into Devon Aka from Lehigh, the running back, Legend Glasker, his teammate, and those guys are family to Isaiah Glasker. So there's a gene there that allows him to be super fast. And then you got a big-time playmaker Brock Harris that's down there in St. George area out of Pineview High School, and then combine that with Graham Livingston. He's a big playmaker, receiver out of Ridgeline. So you look at these type of playmakers, they all make a difference. And we have other guys that are still we're looking in this entire class. We're hopefully looking to add some more, maybe a couple more, a few more in this class, and then looking to add a few more in February when that happens. And that with the combination of some people that we'll get in the transfer portal when that does open, we'll take a look at that and see what we have there that will fit our program.
As national as this program has gone, can you just discuss the importance of staying local? You've always wanted to recruit local. How key is it to keep these guys home?
Yeah, it's great football in the state of Utah, and so we want to recruit here first, that it's we want to take care of our backyard first, and that's going to be the key. And a good number of our roster comes from the state of Utah. But we also want to make sure that we look at other places, people that can fit what we're doing here. It's a good mix. I think half our class is out of the state. That's a good number when you're looking at every year our signing classes have been around that, and so I think it's a good mix right there. And then they got to play football first. They have to be able to do it. They have to have the talent. I don't really care where they come from. It's just a lot easier when you don't have to jump on a plane to go recruit them.
Last question will be from Brandon Gurney.
Yeah, Kalani, to the standouts are both tight ends, two of your 4-star prospects, and Brock Harris and Ty. I'm just going to call him Ty from Colorado. I'm going to butcher his last name. But and then you got Ryder Swanson on his mission. Kind of speak about the tight end futures and just those two specifically, what they add to that position.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome when you're looking at the tight end position and you have Parker Ord out of Frisco, Texas. And so, I mean, those guys can all play. The hard thing is that they're going on missions, so we've got to wait for them. But there's always a good amount of people that go in and out from returning from the missions and guys that we can get in the transfer portal. But it's helpful that when you have big time ball players that are out on missions and willing to serve a mission. That's going to be key for us. I think they'll be great teammates and great leaders for us. And for me, it's like hurry and wait, for that situation. But the mission program is something we're always going to support. I served a mission, so I get it. And I think it's going to be really helpful when we get these guys back serving wherever they're called to serve the missions and doing some wonderful things. It's going to make them even better as leaders.
There's Kalani Sitake with the media. We're talking football with Riley Jensen next. Stay with us. Get the best blankets and gifts ever and save 50% this season with the promo code ZONE50. Shop online at MickeyCouture.com or visit any of their 6 locations. DJ, PK, and we're joined now by Riley Jensen. Riley, good morning.
My guys, what's happening?
Well, Kalani isn't going to Penn State. He's staying at BYU. That is clearly the big news. And it made me think as they, invest and we see all kinds of stories out there about, just massive numbers. It made me think Riley's not just a former Snow College and Utah State quarterback, is usually what we talk about. But for one spring, you went to BYU, competed for the starting job. You didn't get it. And you told us, Norm Chow understood when you moved on because you wanted to go somewhere where you could play. But what BYU football looked like then and what it looks like now, like nobody then would believe now. I don't know that any of us would, but especially if you were there walking around in the facilities with those coaches in that era. And I get the whole sport has changed, but does it blow your mind?
Yeah, there was still a part of BYU that was coming off the Cottonwood Bowl at that time, and it was a big time feel, about as big time a feel as you could have for BYU at that time, and I still think they would be blown away. And so I don't think that there's any question that the amount of money that's in the program, the amount of success that's happening in the Big 12, and some of the different things that are going on are huge. I will tell you this. 2 of my most impressive teammates at BYU when I was there were Kalani Sitake and Aaron Roderick. And so it's one of those things where I'm not surprised. These guys were playing big-time football even back then, and I'm not surprised that their discipline, that their personalities, their work ethic is translating to this kind of success at BYU.
We saw some national reports that BYU is going to give an extra 10 to 15 million available for NIL, and that's above what the university is allowed to pay. That's $20.5 million. That is through all sports. So, and most of it obviously does go to football. And in your experience in talking with high school kids and signing day being upon us and all, what do you think is a deciding factor if you're listing the reasons as to why a young man chooses a school as far as the financial compensation is? Where do you put that in the pecking order of level of importance for the young men that would be considering signing with BYU?
Well, I think it's super important to 5-star athletes and 4-star athletes. I think your 3-star athletes are excited about the possibility of what could happen, and there's some schools that don't have as much money they're basically dividing this into like, look, this is what the slot is, and this is what you're going to get paid if you're the starter. We're giving you the opportunity to earn that money if you're a starter. But BYU with, and we saw this with Lane Kiffin with what the extra $25 million that LSU is going to pay for their NIL. What we're seeing is that they're going to be able to go out and offer like big time money to big time recruits. And so it's a game changer. And I think now that we've had a couple of years in the Wild Wild West, or 3 years in the Wild Wild West of all this money, schools are starting to figure out that, hey man, if we can pay premium prices at these positions and in these places, we can land some big time recruits. And I think it's a game changer for BYU right now. I mean, you look at some of the players that they've been able to bring over, even from the University of Utah. I think the key to NIL is being able to poach like what you need for next year from other schools. And so I think it's a big deal, and I think Kalani realizes what a big deal this money is, and that he's going to be able to compete on a national level with the amount of money that they're putting into NIL.
So I'm curious if the best way, if you get a bump, any school, I mean, it's BYU in this case, but you get a bump, is it best to spread that money around the second and the third string if you're really good at developing people? Because the more people you have who you think are pretty good with a chance to develop, the more likely you are to hit, right? It's like having a deep farm system in baseball. Or is it about, hey, now that you have this money, impact player at quarterback, impact player at left tackle, impact pass rusher to disrupt the other team's quarterback in their passing game? How would you handle that? Would you spot it on 3 or 4 key positions, or try to build depth across the roster, especially if you were good at bringing those players along?
Well, I personally feel like, I mean, you've always got to spend money on a quarterback. You've always got to spend money on some playmakers and then a left tackle. But I think where you can really make some hay is at D-line and on the offensive line, where maybe there's a school, and I don't know what the exact numbers are, but let's say that there's a school that's offering $200,000 to a really good offensive line prospect, and you're able to come in and pay him $300,000. He maybe doesn't start, but he brings tremendous depth and really, really good talent to those positions. Because I still believe, I really still believe that, yeah, these skill players and guys like Bear Bachmeier that are going to be really, really good for the school for a few more years are really a big deal, but it's still won in the trenches. I mean, BYU's playing good football because they have a really good defensive line. Their offensive line has totally played better than what I thought they were going to play this year. And you win it in the trenches. When I'm watching a game, I'm watching the first few series to see what's going on with the offensive and the defensive line, and that's going to give me a really good indicator about who's going to win the game. And the perfect example of that is when BYU is playing against Texas Tech. When I was watching that game, I was like, this could be a long day, because right now that D-line is winning and that offensive line for Texas Tech is winning, and that doesn't bode well for you. So I think maybe it's a combination of both. I'm positive that these college teams are now talking to pro teams to ask them how they kind of divide up their money and what percentage is allocated to each position and those sorts of things right now, because you can do the same thing that pro teams are doing on a smaller scale in college. And so I'm sure there's been some conversations with Andy Reid and what he thinks, and some different people that BYU coaches are connected to in the NFL to find out the best way to spread this money. And they've probably already been doing that on a smaller scale. Now they're going to be able to do it with even more money, and that makes you feel good if you're a BYU supporter or fan, that, man, they're going to be able to allocate money to different positions to help out.
I know you know a lot of people. I'm wondering if you got any involved in conversations about Kalani possibly leaving to go to Penn State. At the press conference, I learned that, quote, it came down right to the buzzer, meaning that, it was touch and go as far as him staying, him going. Obviously, he stayed. I'm wondering if you got involved in that process to find out what was going on.
I tried really, really hard. The three people that I know pretty well on the staff were amazingly tight-lipped. And I try not to push too hard. I'm in this part-time. I was only interested in, how it affects them and their families, but they weren't even budging with me. And so, from other people that I've talked to that have been able to, it was definitely touch and go. And on let's see, what is today? Wednesday. I heard on Monday like it was a done deal. He was going to Penn State, and then somehow, not to use religious terms, but there was some sort of Hail Mary that was made to be able to get Kalani to stay.
I think of that as a Roger Staubach term. So,
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord be with thee. Blessed art thou.
No, that's not Roger Staubach right there.
That's the prayer. It's an actual prayer.
I know it is.
Did you ever recite it?
Maybe.
I have many times.
I had a kid in the dumb class. We've heard all about it.
It feels like it's kind of worked for you, PK.
Oh, I've needed several Hail Marys in my life. Hail Marys, Bloody Marys, you name it.
I'm just saying, I know Jackie, and I know that was a Hail Mary for you. So,
the Lord was with thee.
All right, speaking of Hail Marys, Saturday morning, there's a little game that's going to kick off at 10 a.m. What do you expect in a rematch? How different will the rematch be than the first game?
Or
how similar?
I've been thinking about this a lot. Number one, LJ Martin was not healthy at all. In fact, in that game, I think he played for his teammates. I don't think he should have played. I don't think he could run the way that he could run in that game. I think that's going to be a difference. BYU simply cannot have 67 yards rushing again and win this game on Saturday. They've got to establish some sort of a run game, some sort of ability to hit some seams, and they've got to come off ready to go on the offensive and defensive lines if they're going to pull off the win in this game. Now, I do think that psychologically it's really, really hard to win 2 games in a row against the same team. So I think I think that bodes well for BYU. They've got to establish some sort of run game like I was talking about. And then, they've averaged almost 200 yards a game rushing during the year. To have 67, they've got to double 67. They've got to be in the 125 to 150 yard range in rushing. And then in the passing game, they had about 180, and he's been averaging about 220. I think he's got to be at least at his average or maybe a little bit more in the passing game. And then Chase Roberts, Parker Kingston, Cody Hagan, I really feel like wide receivers, when it comes to football, they're kind of like dunkers in basketball or three-point shooters in basketball, where if they can make a big play or if they can make some sort of, play that has a lot of heart in it or a big catch, that can be something that swings momentum BYU's way. And so look for those guys. They didn't make the normal plays that they made all year long in that Texas Tech game. And so look for BYU to try and get those guys going a little bit early, try and get LJ Martin going a little bit early and see if they can't, break through with some individual plays that really build momentum and confidence for BYU to start the game.
So the Devils beat them, the only team to administer a loss to Texas Tech. If you were an offensive coordinator, the statistics that they had offensively were better than anybody else had all season because the Tech defense was really dominant. How much would you look to see? Could you possibly recreate what ASU did in order to win that game a couple of weeks back or several weeks back?
Oh, I think you look at that statistically and you're like, okay, what did they see? What was the timing of what they called? Why were they able to move the ball? I think part of it was because of Sam Levitt. I mean, he's a really, really good player. I also think there were some looks that Texas Tech threw at Bear Bachmeier that was the first time that he was really challenged as a freshman, where he looked a little bit confused. I can remember him looking at the little iPad and asking a lot of questions. I think he's going to be a lot more prepared this week than maybe he was in that game. They threw some looks at him that I know confused him, and there was parts of the game, and I don't think this is a bad thing, and I don't think that I'm being critical here, but there were parts of the game where Aaron Roddick was actually telling him where to throw the ball. And that becomes really, really hard on an offensive coordinator, because if you have to tell the quarterback where to throw the ball, you better be right. And Bear was enough confused in that game that Aaron just said, okay, we're going to run this play, you're going to look it off, and you're going to throw the dig right here, and it's going to be open. And there were some times where it was open, and there were some times where it wasn't. But that's what they had to resort to pass the ball. And so I think Bear will be much more prepared mentally that this team can do some different things. And I feel like Bear is a really, really intelligent quarterback who wants to learn. And I think because of that, he's going to be more prepared for this game. Now, I'm not necessarily predicting a win for BYU. I really hope that they do, because I think it's the only way that they get into the playoff. But they are going to play much better in this game than the 27-9 result of the first game.
That game was November 8th. Think back to your playing days. And maybe it's different now. Maybe there's so much more video now. But
October?
How much?
What game are you talking about?
November 8th, Texas Tech, BYU.
Oh, you're talking. I thought you were about the ASU game.
How much can you improve as a football player in a month, especially a quarterback?
Well, I think he has improved. I mean, over the year, you just think about his first three games compared to the way that he's playing now. He's improved a ton. I think the biggest thing that could be a possibility is to how he feels. I don't know how he's been banged up all year. He plays a pretty physical game. My guess is that he's a little bit more healthy, and when you get more healthy as a quarterback, it can really improve your game. And so I think he's probably in a rhythm. I think he also knows a little bit more what to look for and this will be an interesting step in his growth because, like I said, playing a team for the second time is difficult, but it's also going to be really, really important to his progress that he's ready for the different scenarios that Texas Tech threw against him, for the different scenarios that maybe Arizona State was able to be successful in. And so I think I do think you can improve every single week. It may not be in the yardage or in the stats, but it might be in third downs or in the red zone that he's a little bit more efficient, and that can be really, really big when it comes to the games.
Yeah, the thing that I want to see is them take shots because they're a double-digit underdog, and I felt like it was a little on the conservative side. Let's play not to make a mistake on offense, and I don't know if you can do that. I think you're going to have to just be aggressive, and if you make mistakes, well, maybe you're going to lose anyway, but in my mind, go down. If you're going to go down in a more aggressive fashion than what we saw the first game.
That really surprises me, coming from you, that you think that you should go down swinging.
Yeah, I'm 100% with him.
I have a feeling.
I'm 100% with him, Riley. I mean, you're not going to drive 12 plays on these guys. They're really good. So when you get a chance to make a big play, go for it.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, if there's anything I know about Patrick
Kinahan, right? Yeah.
He's going to be scratching the inside of his coffin. He's going to be so upset that he's passing away on us. But I totally agree with you. They got to take the shots. I think they're going to be able to take a few more shots because LJ is more. He is so much more healthy at this point than when they played the first time. And I think that just sets up some of the play action and some of the things that you want to do when you want to take shots downfield. So yes, I think that's what I was hinting at a little bit when I was talking about the receivers being big play receivers and making big plays. They've got to take those shots and they've got to land a few of them, right? And I think that can really change the momentum of a game and the confidence of a team when your wide receivers are making plays like that. So it's going to be interesting. I agree. You need to be a little bit more aggressive. I totally agree with you guys that they buttoned down the hatch a little bit and they're playing a little bit safe in that first game. And I really don't think they have anything to lose.
Right.
I mean, I think they know win and you're in, lose and you're out. I mean, I think that's the way that it looks right now. So you might as well go for it.
Yeah.
Riley, we appreciate the time as always. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
There's Riley Jensen. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are next.